I learned that there's 2 new titles for Auros users. Brad gave us Auros Deacon. I want to use that one. That's a good one. And Susan gave us Auros Geek, which I already own that title. So those are 2 new, really good titles that we got from this conference. I appreciate that. Just want to talk a little bit about some of the things that I think I learned from General Motors, from Brad. You know, I think we kind of walked right into this mindset change with the presentation on problem solving and DFSS, and the idea that the documentation of the learning was kind of like the mindset before, and the assessment process that kind of came in after was a whole new way of thinking and a whole new set of value that was completely, left the old way behind, right? And I don't think we mentioned it much this year, but if you were at last year's conference, we talked a lot about assessment first, a term that my colleague Josh Cullis, I think, coined. And it kind of is a strategy that's really important to us now. So if you were to start with Auros today, our consultants would be telling you about assessment first. You wouldn't start with knowledge packets necessarily. And in fact, Susan actually talked, I think it was Susan said something about blank K-packs. Was that you, Susan, who said something about blank K-packs? You probably said, well, what does she mean by that, right? And the idea is that if you're thinking assessment first, you design the assessment. Where is it where we need to make decisions? Where do we have to facilitate our processes? And that kind of goes to that. And so Brad's presentation, showing the assessment, walking through those questions and tracking the project was very useful, and kind of gave us a really good example of the mindset change. With Spray, Josh Duval showed us a model-based process. Thank goodness we had a model-based process here. I love to talk about model-based stuff. And if you saw the process execution, that's very important to the future, I think, of our technology, doing process execution. Someone here mentions another tool about process execution. I think we have some advantages over the tool because of the other things we do around that. But process execution is fundamentally a model-based assessment process. And I think that was really cool to show and to understand, how the visualization and the communication improvements improve the performance of the core business in these objectives for the process management. From Scott, I learned not to follow him in the conference. Really. I'm going to go back and we're going to write a K-pack in the assessment for what you learn in the next year's conference. Don't follow him. It was really interesting to hear about this villain concept, though, wasn't it, right? It also underscores that same mindset change, because I happen to know what happened at the beginning of Navistar. I was there. We know the VP, right, Rick? We know the circumstances by which we were thinking K-Pack first, and there's an edict to go out and create a bunch of K-Packs without really thinking about quality and all these things, and you wound up getting a bunch of stuff that you don't need, and that was painful. I love that visual you used too with the lady on the railroad tracks. That was really cool. And obviously, when you think about knowledge aware, what it's trying to do, I talked about the provisioning and what Scott said, hey, when we took advantage of extended elements, we were able to more, effectively provision knowledge, and we got it down from whatever you said, 100-somethings to 17. And it's that sensing of context that, in your case, the context came from the selection of those extended elements. And I'm sorry about the term name, extended elements, by the way. That was probably me. So we understood that can be a much more efficient process to build the consistent doing versus training and having the people responsible, your 3 rocks, which I thought was a pretty cool concept. In general, I hope that you found the conference useful, above all everything. I mean, I don't know, that's what I got out of it. I don't know what you got out of it. I hope you all found your own interesting thing to get out of the conference. If there's something, I hope that you can see, at least, or agree in some ways that knowledge aware of this concept, even if you don't use Auros, sorry, Prem, but just the concept is, to me, it's an inevitable state of the future of engineering, and that model-based representations of knowledge will be provisioned accurately wherever, whenever they're needed, where they create the model data footprint where we can learn new things, right? We want that data footprint so we know how fast everybody got here, when they pass certain miles in the what driving characteristics they have. We want the data footprint so that we need an insight, we have the data to go get it. Most of all, I might have already said that, but I'll say most of all, I hope you leave energized to go back to your home organizations with some notions of knowledge aware. Something will change in your work days because you were here. And that we can work together to improve, to evolve, and pursue these knowledge aware concepts. I think we can. The conference is now over, which is, we did it. Hopefully you'll consider joining us at the reception that follows. And if not, please drive home safely. We wish everybody a safe travel home. Please reach out to me or to any of the Auros Knowledge staff with any questions, current concerns, or requests. Because as my colleague Bridget knows, we are... Always happy to help. Yes! She got it. We're always happy to help. She's good. So thank you, everybody, and hopefully we see you at the reception.